One snapshot. 1 second caught between heartbeats. And yet, that single moment was enough to unravel everything he'd tried so hard to hide. The picture appeared online late one evening. No announcement. No caption. Just Dylan, standing beside Shen Yue. A quiet candid from an industry event in Tokyo. He wasn't posing. He wasn't smiling for the camera. In fact, it looked like he didn't even know the camera was there. But what caught everyone's attention was his expression. Not the polished, public smile he wore for fans. Not the cold distance that came with fame. But something real. Something unguarded. Something that spoke louder than words. In that single photo, his eyes gave everything away. The way he looked at her. It wasn't just admiration. It wasn't just nostalgia. It was the kind of look that only comes when love has been buried too long. Fans zoomed in, studied every detail, and the internet exploded. Look at the way he's watching her. He still loves her, doesn't he? This isn't acting anymore. Within hours, hashtags were trending worldwide. People weren't just seeing a reunion. They were witnessing a story they'd never stopped believing in. Because deep down, everyone knew the truth. Some things never really end. For years, Dylan and Shen Yue had mastered the art of distance. They spoke kindly of each other in interviews, but never too kindly. They followed each other quietly online, but never interacted. They smiled at award shows, but always from opposite sides of the room. It was a delicate balance, a silent agreement to protect something neither could erase. But that photo broke the silence. It was taken during a charity gala, a small, elegant gathering meant to support young filmmakers. They hadn't expected to see each other. Their teams hadn't planned it. But fate, it seemed, had its own sense of timing. Shen Yue arrived first, in a simple white gown, soft waves in her hair, radiant in a way that needed no spotlight. Dylan came later, looking calm, composed, but a little more guarded than usual. And when their eyes met across the room, the air shifted. People noticed. A few whispered. Some smiled knowingly. For a moment, they just stood there. Two people with too much history, too many unsaid words, and one impossible choice between pride and truth. Then she smiled. A small, careful smile. The kind she used to give when he'd tease her during filming. And just like that, his composure cracked. He didn't smile back. Not right away. He just looked at her. Eyes soft. Heart heavy. Someone nearby snapped the photo at that exact moment. No flash. No warning. Just truth. Raw and unfiltered. It was the look of a man who had spent years trying not to feel something he never stopped feeling. Later that night, his team released an official statement. Just colleagues. Nothing more. But words can't undo what eyes reveal. Fans replayed the scene over and over. From different angles. Different perspectives. And every version told the same story. When she looked away, he didn't. When she moved to greet another guest, his gaze followed her, as if afraid she might disappear again. And maybe that's what hurt the most. The quiet realization that he had never truly let her go. Those who were there said that after the gala, he stood alone by the balcony for a long time. Hands in his pockets. Head tilted slightly toward the night sky. Someone offered him a drink. He shook his head. He just stayed there, still thoughtful, as if trying to calm the storm inside him. A reporter later asked him what he was thinking about that night. He smiled politely and said, "Just life." But the world had already seen more than his words could hide. Because love, real love, doesn't fade quietly. It lingers in glances, in habits, in photos we wish were never taken but can't stop looking at. The next morning, Shen Yue saw the photo too. She didn't repost it. She didn't comment. She just stared at it for a while. In the stillness of her apartment, coffee growing cold beside her. She remembered that moment. How he had looked at her. How she felt her chest tighten without understanding why. She had thought she was over it. Over him. But seeing it frozen in time, seeing the truth she tried to forget, it all came back. That photo wasn't just a picture. It was proof. Proof that even when years pass, some connections never lose their pull. Her phone buzzed with messages from friends. "You've seen it, right? Do you want us to take it down?" But she didn't reply. She didn't need to. She saved the photo quietly. Not for the world, but for herself. Because deep down, some part of her needed to remember that look. The look that said everything words never could. Over the next few days, the industry buzzed with speculation. Articles, interviews, clips from old dramas resurfacing. Fans dissecting scenes frame by frame. Maybe it was always real, someone wrote. Maybe that's why their chemistry felt different. And maybe they were right. Because when two hearts recognize each other, acting becomes the easiest lie to believe. Dylan stayed quiet through it all. No posts. No denials. Just silence. The kind that says too much. He went on with his schedule. Smiling for cameras. Laughing with co-stars. But sometimes, in the candid moments between takes, he looked distant. Like he was somewhere else entirely. Some fans said he started keeping that photo as his phone wallpaper. Just for a few days. Before changing it again. Maybe it was rumor. Maybe it wasn't. But either way, it fit the story. A man who once let go. And suddenly remembered why he shouldn't have. Weeks later, he was asked during an interview about love. Whether he believed in second chances. He hesitated, then said quietly, "I think when something feels right, it never really leaves you." The interviewer smiled. Fans cried. Because everyone knew who he was talking about. That one photo changed everything. Not because it showed something new, but because it revealed something old. Something familiar. Something they had all felt but never confirmed. For Shen Yue, it was a reminder. For Dylan, it was confession without words. For fans, it was proof that what they saw years ago on screen wasn't fiction. It was real. And maybe it still is. Even now, when they're seen in different cities. Different lives. The memory of that one moment lingers. That soft look. That quiet truth. It was more than nostalgia. It was the echo of a love that never fully let go.